Hey everybody, this is Brian with Bear Cards 34, back with another video. This is a mail day of some pickups that I've had of late. This one is really cool, so I'm just going to show you guys this set right here. This is from Actionpacked. It has a date. It's the NFL Players Association Awards Dinner for March 12th, 1991. And there's a print run of 5,000. And each box was numbered, so this is 302 out of 5,000. So the cards themselves are not individually numbered, but that is the print run. So anyway, that's a fun thing that I'll save for the end. I did pick up a couple other things. So speaking of like 90s cards that I did not have, I picked up two of these. These are Proline portraits. This is from the National from 1991, July of 91. And yeah, so Jim Everett and Derek Thomas. Love Derek Thomas. I was a big fan of his. Rest in peace. Now, the weird thing was when I went to Trading Card Database, they have the image for Derek. Looks legit. They have the image for Jim Everett, also with the strip, but then it had a stamp down here, kind of like those certified authentic autographs. So it had the stripe and a stamp, and this one does not. I couldn't find any other variation with or without a stamp. So anyway, kind of interesting. If anybody knows about that, let me know. There were other National cards that would have a stamp that would actually say National 1991, but they didn't have the stripe. But anyway, pretty cool cards. Happy to have those. I'll put those in my Proline binder. And then my big pickup was this one right here. Very happy to add this to my Bears PC. This is a PSA 7 George Blanda right here, 1955 Bowman. And you know, he's one of those legendary players in the NFL, and I was really happy that he was on the Bears for a while. So that is my George Blanda. Now the interesting thing with him, old timers will remember this guy for sure, but if you're not too familiar, he played forever. He played an NFL record 26 seasons. And when he retired, he was over 48 years old. He played, I think his first year, yeah, he started in 1949. That's when the Bears drafted him. He was like one of the later round picks by the Bears in 1949 out of Kentucky. And part of the reason he was able to play so long is he was a quarterback and a kicker. And what was kind of funny is the Bears also played him at linebacker a little bit early on in his career. Yeah, so this is kind of the back of the card. Now, the funny thing is, he started in 1949. This is his second card. He does have a card a year earlier, 54. That one's a little more pricey. I do like the image on this one better, but the rookie would be a great one to have. So hopefully someday I'll be able to pick that up. But what's wild is, okay, here are his final cards. These are from 1975 Topps. And check out the difference right there. That just shows you all the time that had passed from this young guy right here, and then we see him in his final season as a 48-year-old man. Wild to think, you know, all those years and everything he saw over those 26 seasons. What's cool, though, is had they made his rookie card, which back then usually came out the year after they started, so he was drafted in 49, which means he would have had a card in the 1950 Bowman. So imagine that. Imagine having a guy with a card as old as 1950 who's then in a set in the mid-70s still. That would be just wild. So anyway, very happy to have that. He was a great player, right? So he played for the Bears. He was a kicker and a quarterback. And after a handful of years, George Halas really wanted him more as a kicker than a quarterback, and Blanda got kind of frustrated with that, so he retired. So he did not play the 1959 season. And then in 1960, he came back and signed with the Houston Oilers of the AFL, where he had a great career. During his time in the AFL, he helped Houston win a couple of titles. He had 3 AFL championships. He was the 1961 AFL MVP. He was a scoring leader, a passing leader. 1974, he was the NFL Man of the Year, and Pro Football Hall of Fame. Now, one thing that's kind of cool, he's got a tie for a record of 7 touchdowns in one game, but he also has the record for most interceptions in a season which was 62, or 42, sorry, in 1962, but 42 interceptions. I don't know if that's still a record, but it was then. I would imagine that is. 42 in a season is a lot. So anyway, very, very happy to have this card. One of the NFL legends, and love that it's him with the Bears. So very, very happy to add that to my collection. All right, so with this then, all right, we'll go ahead and open this, and I'll show you guys what is inside. So it comes with this little notification. I don't want to blind you guys. I'm not sure how that shows, but what it basically says is I'll read this out to you guys. So the NFL awards are the only honors voted on exclusively by fellow players. The winners are judged by the men they compete against. The NFL Players Association's support of the Muscular Dystrophy Association gives thousands of Americans with muscle diseases the help they need today and hope for tomorrow through pioneering research. So that's kind of what that says right there. March of 1991, Washington, D.C. So it came with this set of cards, which I did not have before, so very happy to get these. Now, I don't know that all of these are, but they might all be the same images as their normal card. So this is Jim Lachey, but on the back it will show you what award they won. So he was the 1990 Offensive Lineman of the Year. That's the Jim Lachey for card number 1. Card number 2, one of my all-time favorite linemen, Anthony Munoz, right here. And I love the Actionpacked cards. Those were always cool, right? So they got the gloss on the player, and then the image pops out. Really cool. Love the design this year as well. So he was the 1990 AFC Offensive Lineman of the Year. So you got the NFC and AFC Offensive Lineman of the Year right there. The cards number 1 and 2. Card number 3, Bruce Smith, 1990 AFC Defensive Lineman of the Year. Card 4 is Reggie White, the late great Reggie White, NFC Defensive Player of the Year. So 2 of the all-time greats to ever do it right there. And you could say the same about Munoz as well. Another Hall of Famer right here, Charles Haley, was the NFC Linebacker of the Year for 1990, 16 sacks. And again, we got another Derek Thomas, DT right here. 1990 AFC Linebacker of the Year, 20 sacks that year. So he had 10 as a rookie, 20 second year, 30 quarterback sacks in his first 2 seasons. Just awesome. And a really great, I loved Albert Lewis. I thought he was such a good player. And he won the award that year for AFC Defensive Back of the Year. And then my guy, as a rookie, Mark Carrier of the Chicago Bears, won the NFC Defensive Back of the Year. So as a rookie, he had 10 interceptions. He had over 100 tackles as well. It was a great rookie season. 3-time Pro Bowler for Mark Carrier, all with the Bears. Then we have Raina Thompson. This is for special teams, and that's the 1990 NFC Special Teams Player of the Year. And then the great Steve Tasker, who I know some people have talked about, him getting into the Hall of Fame as a special teamer. He was great. He went to a lot of Pro Bowls. So he's the AFC Special Team Player. And then we have the Defensive Player of the Year for the AFC, James Francis, 8 quarterback sacks. And then the second time featured in this set, Mark Carrier, because he was also the NFC Defensive Rookie of the Year with those 10 interceptions. So, yeah, great rookie season. His best season, but he was good for the Bears. I was a big fan of his. And then we got Johnny Johnson. This guy, he always would get like 800-900 yards a season. He only played for 5 years. He had over 4,000 yards rushing. And then he's just kind of out of the league after 5 years. So as a rookie, 926 yards, 4 yards a carry. NFC Offensive Rookie of the Year. And then a really talented tight end that I was a fan of for the Steelers, Eric Green. And he ended up with the AFC Offensive Rookie of the Year. And then the final 2 cards, Hall of Famer Warren Moon. Awesome card right there. and he was the 1990 AFC MVP from the NFL Players Association Awards. And then Randall Cunningham, who was a lot of fun to watch, and he was the NFC MVP. All right, so that is it. It's a cool set, and I know I put the cards, some of them are going to be upside down, but yeah, this is a really, really cool little set of cards that will go in handy with my binder. So happy to have that with the box here, the fragile old box, and favorite pickup, of course, is this George Blanda. I did get it on eBay from the PSA vault, and I will say it took a long time. It was about a month before I got the card, which is usually I'll get a card on eBay within a few days, maybe a week. Now, in fairness, they were really responsive when I did reach out and say, hey, it's been 3 weeks, you haven't even sent this out yet. They did get right back to me and gave me an update, and the card did arrive eventually, so I'm happy with that. But yeah, it did take a while with the PSA vault for some reason. But yeah, great card for my collection, and fun little 90s pickups as well right here. Love the 90s. Football cards, music, movies, books. Love the 90s. All right. Thanks everybody for watching. I appreciate that. Hope everybody is doing well. And as always, go Bears.